So I was actually baptised when I was very young. It was 3 weeks before I was 9, and my mum hadn't wanted me to get baptised because she felt I was too young. So I went and spoke to the evangelist at our church, and I can't actually remember what I said, but whatever I said convinced him, because he then went and spoke to my parents. And then the next morning, which happened to be a Sunday, I was baptised. But as I say, I was very, very young, and in hindsight, probably too young. And then when I got to the age of 18, I'd really just started taking God for granted. And I left the church. I wanted to move in with my boyfriend. That was really all I cared about. And then I ended up leaving the church and stayed away for 10 years. Thought I was living a great life, doing everything I wanted to do without sort of conscience. And then it was kind of like the longer I stayed away, I never stopped believing in God, but I'd stopped caring. But the longer I stayed away, gradually over the years, the more my conscience started tugging at me. And I had children, and I knew that I wanted them to still go to church, even though I didn't. So my mum would take them to Sunday school for me, and take them to church on a Sunday and all of that for me. But I never wanted to know anything about it. I didn't want to have anything to do with it. I just wanted my children to go so that they would, know all about it and know, be able to make an informed decision for themselves when they grew up if they wanted to go or not. But then, like I say, the longer I stayed away, the harder it got. And it was kind of like God was knocking at the door for me until eventually I knew I had to do something. So after I'd left the church for a number of years, the more I tried to ignore God, the more I couldn't stop thinking about him. And I'd been brought up in the church, so my belief in God had never wavered. But my love for him had, and my relationship with him, just was virtually non-existent. And I really felt that because I hadn't been to church for so long, and because I knew the life I'd lived wasn't right as a Christian, I really didn't feel like I could even pray to God, because I just felt too bad about, all the things I'd done and the way I treated him. But eventually it took about 10 years, and I kind of, as I say, I couldn't stop thinking about, about God and about how I needed to get my life right, because things were starting to go wrong. And I just couldn't see a way out of it. And I can remember one morning getting up and actually praying and just thinking, I need to do something, and just sort of praying to God, I really want to go back to church, God. I'm really sorry for the way I've lived, but I don't know what to do. I don't know, how do I go back to church? Do I speak to someone about it? Do I just turn up? I don't know what to do. How do I put things right? Just show me what to do. And that same day, I was going to my grandma's house. She was away on holiday, and I was just going around to do some gardening for her while she was away. And I can remember I got out the car, did the gardening, and then my uncle turned up. And my uncle happened to be an elder at the church that I used to go to. And I hadn't seen him in a long time. And it was almost like God was saying, okay, here's your opportunity, speak to him about it, And I just remember looking up and thinking, oh, okay, that's my answer. So I just spoke to my uncle, and I said, I really want to come back to church. I'm really sorry for the way I've lived my life, and I don't know what to do to get it right. And he just said, well, just come back. You don't need to do anything. Just come back. Just walk through the door. Come back on Sunday morning. We'll take it from there. You pray to God. You sort your life out with God, and come back to church. What's stopping you? And I was just like, what, it's that easy? And he's like, yes, come back. So I did. I walked in the door on Sunday morning, which was the hardest thing I've ever done. And the amount of love that I was greeted with, and the amount of hugs that I got, and everybody was just so happy that I'd come back. And I remember just thinking, well, why did it take me so long? Why didn't I do this, ages ago? What was wrong with me, And I remember just that feeling of thankfulness and gratitude to God, that all I had to do was just walk through the door. You know, it was that initial prayer to God, and it just turned everything around. Since turning my life back to God and following Him, my life is just it's just got better and better and better. And don't get me wrong, being a Christian doesn't mean bad things aren't going to happen. I've had lots of bad things happen to me that have happened since coming back to God, and I've made lots of wrong decisions and done things that I regret. But I know that because I've got God in my life, even when I mess up, which I do all the time, all isn't lost. You know, God's there to help me put things right, to hopefully grow and not make the same mistakes again. And even when I do, I know that He'll forgive me if my heart's repentant. And I make a lot of mistakes. And I think the biggest thing for me was when my marriage broke down, my husband left us and I had no job, I had children to support, I had no way to pay my bills, and I was just, God, what do I do? And I can honestly say, I never went without, my family never went without, we've always been fine, God put people in my life, and the church that I was with, the congregation, they helped me. I found work, I was able to get a house, and my job's now going really well, my children are all happy and settled, and I can honestly say, without God in my life, I genuinely don't think any of that would have happened. And it's only because I've trusted in God and I've had my Christian family to help me, and it just blows me away when I think about the difference my life is with God in it to what it was like when He wasn't in it. And even when things are going wrong, you've got that peace and that inner peace that kind of tells you that no matter how bad things get, it's actually okay because you've got God. And things are never as bad as what they seem. And, even on the worst days, you can pray about it, whatever the problems are, or you can pick up the phone to somebody at church. And, there's always somebody there to help you because we love each other, and like I say, praying. My life with God in it makes so much more sense. It gives me peace of mind, and I've just got that sure certainty that I'm not on my own and things will be okay. And even if in this life things aren't okay, I know what I've got to look forward to, I know where I'm going, and no matter how bad things get here, it's actually okay because there's so much more to come, and there's as I hear people say all the time, the best is yet to come, and I'm so excited about what's going to happen in the future. And I know that God's got plans for me that I haven't got a clue what they are, but I know that I'm here to do His work, and that just gives me so much happiness. Life with God in it just makes so much more sense. Everything makes sense with God in your life. Without God in my life, things were meaningless. There was no point to being here. There's just no meaning to anything. But with God in my life, I know that I'm not alone, and I know that I've always got a friend, and there's always somebody there for me, no matter how bad things get. And I would say that that's going to be true for anybody that accepts God into their life. Just gives you purpose, and it's something that having God in your life reminds you that it's not just about you. You're here for a purpose, and you're here to serve God, and we're here to tell other people about God and to just share all the joy and the love that God gives us. We get so much more back than we can possibly give, and it's everything that goes with it. It's the church family, it's the love, it's the support, it's just having that whole support network around you. But most importantly, when you feel that you're on your own, you're not, because you've got God there, and He really does help work things out in ways that you just can't even imagine. And it just helps to make sense of everything, all the bad things that are going on, and the good things as well, just yeah, just no matter how bad things get, you're not on your own. And so life with God in it is just a million times better.